talking basketball. They're fucking dumb as shit. They don't know basketball, but they will make dumb ass jokes.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to Pod Don't Lie with Sam and Stav. We got another travel edition for me, but this is a joyous travel occasion, not more bullshit stand-up comedy. It was my little brother's wedding yesterday. I'm in my home in Baltimore that my other brother lives in, and he has two adorable cats, but they are pieces of shit right now. They see all these new wires in the living room and they want to get involved. Ralph, I'll get you back on the streets, motherfucker. I got a podcast. This is what pays the bills. This is what fucking puts a roof over your head, motherfucker. He doesn't even know, Sam. So I'm here in Baltimore at the Halkis Manor South, holding it down, about to talk some hoops, recovering slowly. I did get, obviously it's my little brother's wedding. I got tore the fuck up last night.
Oh, no.
Yeah, it was great. It was fun.
What were you doing? What were you drinking?
You know, I was drinking, I was weirdly drinking IPAs. I'm not an IPA guy, but there was just like, they had an open bar, but the cocktails were a little, they had like some wine. The cocktails were a little,
I'm not a beer guy. Like I'll drink beer, but I'm not like, I talk to people, whoever the beer aficionados are, they're like, it's fucking all about IPAs. And I'm like, I'll go to a bar, I'll fucking order a Guinness on draft. I'll drink Bud Lights. I'm not like a classy beer guy.
I'm with you. And traditionally, I'm not a beer guy. Traditionally, I've been a tequila guy recently. I've had my stint. I had my Scotch. When I was a little younger, trying to prove I was grown up, I was drinking Scotch. I was doing that a lot.
Scotch is my go. Scotch and wine, whiskey and wine are my favorite things to drink, honestly.
And I've settled into tequila and wine myself. So, but it was so I was the best man, right? So I can't start getting drunk early. So it was the kind of thing where it was like...
It'd be great if you did.
Yeah,
just fucking wasted by 4 p.m. ruining your brother's wedding.
Just completely trashing.
Like Steve Buscemi in Wedding Singer.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. I gave that speech. I gave the Love's Not Real speech.
The best man, the better man.
Yeah.
Great
That's
scene.
A fucking great movie, great scene. So I had to hold off, there's the cocktail hour. I'm not drinking during that. You got the meals and then is the speeches. So it was, basically halfway to the wedding. I'm trying to stay sober and maybe I could have had one or two here, but I just kind of wanted my eye on the prize situation. And then it got to the point where it was like, you can't be the guy who's trying to get shots at a fucking open bar wedding, right? Like that's fucking shitty. And then I was like, you know what? These fucking IPA, it was purely like a doing the math situation. I was like, these IPAs are 9%, like, so it's like, I drink one of these, I'm getting pretty fucked. This is like, one of these is like drinking two like regular light beers.
Wow.
So I was like, I start facing and then it's like, well, I'm on a nice little roll here. I'm feeling good. My thought process, I'm going to have one of these IPAs and we'll see how I feel. I stuck with them all night. I'm getting fucked up off these IPAs. Having like, 8 or 9 of these IPAs.
It's a lot.
It's a lot, but it's my brother's wedding. What do you want?
And also you space it out a little bit. And I will say that more beer should be 9% because those 4% beers, you're fucking peeing all night.
That's a great
you're trying
point.
to drink some water to kill that hangover.
Exactly.
And you're like, oh wow, I'm peeing every 30 minutes.
No, it was great. It was a really beautiful venue. My fucking allergies are acting up back in fucking Baltimore. The pollen was out, and I'm an allergy cougher too, by the way. Sucks. I had to, when I was a little kid, they thought I had some fucking disease, but I just had weird allergies. They thought my lungs weren't working. But anyway, and I'm back in the land where that fucking affects me. Anyway, beautiful venue. It was so cute to see my little brother is just like, such a good kid, like Nick. You met him briefly, but he loved.
I've met him a couple times.
We did the bachelor party. That's right. He literally requested. It was so funny how he wanted like all my friends. He just loves comedy, and he was like, he gave me a list, and by some miracle, you were not.
I'm rarely here. It was
beautiful.
Nice.
It worked out perfect, and it was just great. Beautiful ceremony, outdoor. It's indoor. It's like this old kind of barny situation where it's like indoors, nice. And there's like an outdoor that you can chill at outside. Plus, there's the inside. It was great. It was a nice ceremony. It was very cute to see my brothers tearing up, my mom, everybody. Even my dad's getting a little emotional. My old ass grandma left her house for the first time. She doesn't leave unless it's a doctor. So like a doctor's visit, it's like they got her
COVID or what?
She's just old as shit, dude. She's just like, 92, 93, whatever she is.
Oh wow.
And so she's just like, she's not going out for lunch anywhere. She's staying in there. She's watching Greek YouTube
stories.
She's watching Greek YouTube, absolutely.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was really nice, and it was one of those things, man. I mean, you grew up in New York, so you don't experience this where it's like you leave home. Like I left Baltimore 8 years ago, and probably like 2 or 3 years before that, I was really checked out. I wasn't, and it's like you see all these like little cousins and like these people that you remember as like 7-year-olds. And now you come back and they're fucking taller than you. They're fucking, they're about to go to college. They're just like these fully grown adults. It was a joyous moment where I was like feeling all the love and everything. But then you're also like, damn, I'm growing. You feel your own mortality in a weird way too. When you see these babies that are this little kid that I remember, my brother's god brother's kid. Mm-hmm. She was like, I remember her being born, and she's a fucking 25-year-old teacher now. And I'm just like, damn, dude, I'm old, dude.
That's tough. And I'm with you. I mean, I still have family. It's like, and a lot of them don't live in the city. So Boston, Long Island, wherever. So you see them, and it's it's fucked up.
It's weird, dude. It's really weird.
They're getting married. I'm like the last man standing, and my whole family. Like I feel like all my cousins are married. Except one, and he's like a banker, so he's just like he's like a workhorse.
Right.
And then all the others are just like have families and shit.
Dude, it's crazy. It's insane. And yeah, dude. Believe me, the pressure's on.
I'm becoming dangerously close to being a drunk uncle. Like I'm there.
Here's the thing. You are that. That's your destiny. Listen, fun uncle is my destiny too. But it is the kind of thing where it's like, that's fun for a while, but it's like, you got at a certain point, it's like, you gotta just be a regular guy, or you go down that weird single forever 45-year-old man.
It's just gonna be us tough. And Bill Maher.
Yeah. Yeah.
We just got to get better robes, dude.
Need better robes.
Smoking pipe.
Yeah, exactly. Well, either you got to lean in and become a robe guy. Listen, I see the dark side of my life where I'm just a silk robe and oils orgy guy. Like I see the dark path.
By the way, that's not the dark. That's not. If it goes dark, that's not it. That's a pretty decent outcome.
I don't know, man. I don't know.
Dark is ODing in a fucking Ramada Inn.
You're right.
In like Orlando or something. You're
right. I'm thinking the best case scenario of dark. You're right. I'm thinking I'm going to maintain the best case scenario, but whatever. It was still really great. It was like I'm really happy for my bro, and it was just like a great time overall. And it was Greek Easter. I actually got married on Greek Easter, so they had lamb chops out there. It was great.
Wow.
It was a good time, man. It was a really fun time, and he's about to go to Greece for a couple of weeks. He's going to have a nice little honeymoon. So happy for him. I'm struggling. I'm getting there, though. I keep it together. Obviously, it's my brother's wedding. I didn't get to see the games I wanted to, but there were some very interesting results. I mean, these playoffs are so good, and how funny is it? Truly, how funny is it? I did watch Boston, and so we're recording this Monday
afternoon.
We're not getting the Monday night game. Sorry, folks.
But here's the thing about the Boston game. That was one of the few games I didn't get to watch fully because I watched that
whole thing actually.
I was on stage for the end of it, so I caught a lot of it. But we're watching by the bar downstairs at Gotham, doing a home weekend in New York City. Loving it, having a great time.
Hell
and my boy Phil Hanley opening. Syracuse came out to take some shots. My boy James Webb, who
love James,
videoing the shows. We had. Man, great hangs there, and
it's a great group.
But we're watching the games, and that one, I have to say, I did not think Brooklyn was going to go down 3-0. I just didn't. I didn't think.
It's fucking embarrassing. It's fucking embarrassing.
But you know what the thing about Boston is? It's similar to Miami, where like they're just a well-oiled machine, the way like the Spurs used to be, where it doesn't matter who's in, they're gonna fucking play. And Miami does that, and Boston does that, and before the Devin Booker injury, it felt like the Suns did that.
Right.
You know, there's certain teams, and the Warriors are doing that right now. It doesn't matter. Like, teams that know how to play. I mean, honestly, the Raptors, I know we're not seeing the best of them, but they kind of have that energy about them, too.
Well, the Raptors are a team that is like, we're kind of watching. I believe everything you know about their coach, everything you know about their GM, their culture, the players on the roster, it looks like they're an ascending team, right? Where it's like they have that infrastructure to become the kind of team you're talking about. Where it's like with all those fucking, they have like just these guys.
Scotty Barnes is really looks like he could be a cornerstone.
Scotty Barnes, rookie of the year. How about
a lot of Cleveland fans are pretty pissed off right now.
If Mobley doesn't get hurt, he wins it, I think, for sure. But I
still think he could have gotten it. Barnes got hurt for a while too. I mean, I don't know. My thing is that my point is the Nets are a superstar team. They look thin. The Celtics, look, Tatum and Brown are balling out, but even if they're not, for some reason, I just
and they didn't. By the way, they didn't play that good the first couple games. They didn't play good this game.
They played well, yeah, but they're just a tough defensive team, and just Robert Williams being out there, it's like Robert Williams doing the anti-Ben Simmons. Who Ben Simmons just teasing everybody like, I think I'm ready for game 3. Then he's not. Game 4 it is. Then he's like, I'll be there next year. We're like, will you?
Yeah.
Are you even going to show up next year?
And you know what? The only member of the Brooklyn Nets I respect is Ben Simmons. Because salute to him, a whole year, no work, just didn't do shit. He's, I'm curious to see if he'll fake this injury so the Sixers...
And petitioning to get paid. He's like the only professional basketball player who's basically trying to collect unemployment.
Yeah. Respect, dude. That was the pandemic was a good time for a lot of people on unemployment, dude. I had a lot of friends fucking pay off some loans, get a fucking UTP. Simmons is just trying to be like an out of work bartender in April of 2020, which was a great time, honestly. But yeah, so that game, I did watch that game, and look, they were kind of in it. I mean, it wasn't a complete. It was not a complete, and in fact, the final score is less close than it ended up being,
right?
For most of it, but actually, that is kind of indicative because when they really fell apart was the fourth quarter, and by the way, that's kind of how they behaved the first couple games. Yeah. Every game has subsequently been less and less close. And they have fallen apart earlier.
In the first game, they kind of came on in the fourth quarter. They just couldn't finish it out, but they came back.
But that's what I mean. The first game, they come on and they're a Jason Tatum buzzer beater away from winning, right? And then in the second game, they just kind of fall apart a little bit. Neither of them shoots well, right? Neither
of them played well in Game 3. Honestly, dude, I guess Durant's shooting numbers weren't good, but 11 shots. Who is he? Karl Anthony Towns. Yeah. What are you doing taking 11 and then Kyrie 0 for 7 from 3.
Brutal stuff. Truly brutal stuff. I mean, Bruce Brown, I believe,
43 minutes too. He played.
I believe Bruce Brown outscored both of them in games 2 and 3.
Almost combined, he outscored them. I mean, which you can't really have. Here's a hot take.
Hit me with it.
And tell me if it's too hot. Tell me if I need to cool off.
I'll never cool you off, but hit me with it.
Is Brandon Ingram and Jason Tatum, are they passing Kevin Durant?
Okay, maybe it is time to cool you off. And thank you
in the playoffs. They are in the playoffs. Who's having a better playoffs?
Ingram. You're right. There is something to
against a good defense. That's a good defense in Phoenix.
Ingram has against good defense. The Nets are not a good defense.
No, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah. I love it. I've loved lumping in Ingram and Tatum because we don't want to get everyone is sucking Tatum's cock like he's the fucking best player in the league. Suck my dick. The Nets suck.
Great defense.
The Nets suck. Okay, what did I say?
Jason Tatum is playing good defense.
What did I say? He's playing. Look, he's
a good defender.
He's a system defender as far as I'm concerned.
Well, it's a damn good system.
Exactly. He's a system defender. He's playing about as good a and by the way, that defense was a lot better with Robert Williams coming back. Made a big difference. Shouts out to Al Horford, who has played great. But to have a real, I mean, you saw the difference there a couple times where he got a couple blocks that
they're deep now.
The Nets had forgotten about, right? That was a possibility,
of course they forgot about it. They have Ben Simmons there.
Yeah.
They don't know what it's like for someone on their team to come back when they're not fully ready.
Yeah. I love, by the way, that Simmons was like, yeah, I'm coming back. And then he's like, nah, I tried to get out there. My back was sore. Can't do it. It was just so fucking awesome.
I love that he's not going in. I'm like, we're out Sunday with the same problems. I'm like, my fucking back hurts too.
Yeah, the
Man,
same
Simmons
excuse.
really, he should convert to Judaism.
He really should. Absolutely. My back acted up. Sorry. The same reason.
I'm not soft. I'm venting. I'm venting about my back.
Yeah, Simmons is quitting on a playoff game using the same excuse you used to get out of helping a friend move his couch. You're just like, sorry, I gave it a go and I just can't do it. Yeah, truly pathetic. And look,
oh my God, I'm never helping a friend move again. Those were the worst
over.
things.
We're not, listen, after 30, that's over.
Oh, it's
Hire
over.
a mover.
No, all your friends that make enough now. But I remember my brother.
Well, I don't know about that.
That's not true. But my brother, yeah, that's actually true. But my brother, I remember I helped my brother move once, and I was like, "You've got way too much shit here."
Yeah, absolutely. And especially when someone it's like, that's the thing. Maybe I'll do the math and help you move when I know, because if I know how much, if you're really struggling, maybe I'll help you move. But if you have money, suck my dick. Hire a fucking moving company.
Hire a mover.
Hire a mover. I'm not doing it for 2 slices of fucking shitty pizza and a beer. I'm a grown man.
I'm not doing it for 2 slices of good pizza and an IPA.
But I love that. That's always the fucking, we'll get you some pizza. It's like, you don't think I can afford pizza?
Pizza?
You don't think I can $7 and I have my whole afternoon to myself? You don't think I'd rather do that?
7 hours of hard labor? Yeah, that seems like a fair trade.
Plus your weird friend that's just trying, like, everyone has that one weird guy that's not really their friend, but who jumps at the opportunity to help them move so that they can kind of like sneak in and become better friends with them. You know, like a weird guy at the office. Comics, this happens all the time, where it's like some comic you don't like who's just trying to climb, you know, who sees every opportunity. They have like a little spreadsheet in their mind of like, they have like tally marks for every time they've interacted with someone. And they're like, if I get enough tally marks, then they're my friend. If they're my friend, I can ask them for favors, you know, like that kind of, that insidious way that comics think. Yeah. So you always, if you're helping a comic move, there's always going to be one comic no one actually likes, but who's there for the fucking hard labor alone. You're going to have to put up with that. And even if it's not a comic, it's some weird guy from the office or some guy that's weirdly trying to fuck your friend. God forbid it's a girl you're helping move, like one of your actual girlfriends, because you know she'll bring a bunch of fucking assholes that are just trying to fuck her. You got to put up with that weird energy. For sure.
And the comic energy is brutal too. That while you're holding the couch, the last thing you want to hear is who books that. I mean, it's terrible.
Yeah, they're either gonna try and riff, and it's like, relax, no one needs to do this right now, or they're gonna try and figure out how to book something or ask for someone's email that you don't want to give. Just something bad will happen. Anyway, so in that case, you know, I kind of understand where Ben Simmons is coming from. To do the analogy, I mean, he would have embarrassed himself if he gets out there.
I think that's probably what the people in his ear are saying. Is like, if you come out after all this and suck.
Oh my God! And he would have. He would have. There's no way you're not going to. He hasn't practiced.
So weird because he really has. It's weird when people have all the talent and none of the heart, because I feel like the heart should just be the easy part. You just fucking go. And it's like, that's been his knock since he was a high schooler, since he quit on LSU, since he's always kind of been that dude where you're like, but do you give a shit? I mean, after the collapse against Atlanta last year, I mean, holy shit.
Yeah, one of the biggest basketball what ifs. I mean, true, we've talked about it enough, but it's like, just handle it differently, Philly, and things. Although, you know what I gotta say? You know who's looking fucking great right now is James Harden. Harden is about to be Harden is going to be in the fucking second round. The Nets are going to be home. Who knows?
Isn't that weird?
Yeah.
I did not. Although if Harden stays in Brooklyn, maybe they get past the Celtics. You never know.
Well, look, there were some quotes where it's like, it was so fucking funny. I mean, we read some of the quotes on the Patreon. Go to patreon.com/poddon'tlie if you want 2 of these fucking episodes a week. We read some of the quotes where Brooklyn was just kind of talking like losers. But then after this game, there were even more of those where it's like, dude, Kyrie was talking about like, yeah, well, it's kind of hard. The Celtics have been gelling all year, and we didn't really have an opportunity to gel until. And by the way,
it's not true either. The Celtics gelled in the second half.
Well, but I think his point is like they got their like his point wasn't bad.
They figured it out. They figured it out. But guess what, Kyrie, you're the fucking reason.
Well, that's what I'm saying. It's like if that's like me, I'm in a foot race, and I'm like, yeah, well, you know, this guy. He's got a great diet. He eats salads all the time. You know, it's like he did. You know, it's like it's kind of easy to win a race against me when he's eating salads. It's like, yeah, I'm eating chicken wing. It's like it's kind of easy to win a race when you don't have heartburn. It's like, yeah, Kyrie, your fucking team could have gelled if you weren't at home making some kind of point. Who even knows what you were fucking doing? What political
it's
point
like he's like, I do this for the working man. Guess what? Kevin Durant is a working man. So is James Harden. You didn't do it for your closest friend,
right?
Who are working men. And James Harden straight up left because he's like, this is fucking dumb.
This sucks. I'm not gonna work harder than this motherfucker. I get that. I totally get that, dude. It's like
you know what it is? It's like you have KD is like the dude. He's got two friends. And they're both fuck ups, and both of them were like, "I'm the fuck up," and he's like, "No, I'm the fuck up."
There's only one room for enough fuck ups.
And by fuck ups, I mean world class athletes, but you know what I mean. Like,
of course,
for guys they're two of the best I've ever seen, and they're also two dudes who are like, "Yeah, I have baggage."
Yeah, and I mean, look, it's clear that Kyrie is just annoying. I mean, if you're Harden, he was just, I think more than anything, he was annoyed. It's like, I don't want to, it's one thing if you're hurt. We saw that last year. Harden stepped up when those guys were hurt. And I think Harden's like, well, motherfucker, you're not hurt. Yeah. In fact, I'm hurt. It seems like Harden has some kind of lingering hamstring.
But also Harden the game they lost, he looked really good in that fourth quarter. He was doing like pull-up jumpers. He did that little fade, which you don't see him do anymore. It's funny, once he stops getting those calls, you kind of have to see other shit in his bag. And you're like, damn, he really is a pretty player.
Yeah, and look, as much as annoying as this is, that the fucking we can appreciate the demise of the Nets, and I think on some level, look, I'm not a. And
by the way, Harden shot 5 for 17 against the Raptors, but he had 3 blocks.
Hilarious, yeah. I'm really curious to see what happens with him in Miami because you see what they're doing. Even though the Hawks stole a game there the last time,
they're outmatched.
That defense is going to be. I mean, look, I think.
And Jimmy is he's killing dudes.
He's peaking at the right time for sure. And that's what I'm saying is like, I'm really curious to see how Harden reacts to that. And Maxey for that matter as well. But because, I mean, it's
Miami
really.
defense is a problem and they are so deep. They're just they're the deepest team in the NBA.
It's true. But they also, in their depth, there is a lot of like. There's a lot. I mean, not everyone is that good at defense, right? In fact, I think the main guys on their team are good at defense, but they have a lot of looks that you can exploit. When you start getting the shooters in there, when you start getting, especially because their late game offense is so shitty that it's like if you've got Tyler Hero there, at least you got Tyler Hero that you can pick on. And when you have Maxey and Harden, you think one of them should be able to get a bucket on him. But look, that's neither here nor there. I think
it's fun to see Oladipo get some minutes too.
Yeah. Hopefully, I mean, look, you'd like for that guy to bounce back. He had such a his peak with the Pacers was so fucking sick. But
I will say
the one thing I'll say, we don't have to keep talking about the Nets. The one thing I will say is that on some level, it is nice to see something that was just like, and a little bit the Clippers too. Although the Clippers have done everything right after getting their superstars, you have to give them credit because. Ballmer's willing to spend, and fucking Lawrence Frank and whoever else is in that front office. They make great moves. They're very shrewd about what they do.
You're comparing the Clippers to the Nets right now.
What I'm saying is it's nice to see these like superstar, just get these guys together. We'll figure it out. We don't even have to go to a team that has a real fan base. Send us wherever. It doesn't matter. In fact, get rid of the fun young team that you had and we're growing. Fucking sell them for parts because the fucking big dogs are coming. Even though, by the way, when one of us signs, he's going to sit out a whole year. KD was fucking hurt. On some level, it is nice to see an experiment like that fail and see, even though I don't like Boston, they are homegrown. I mean, Tatum and Brown have been drafted there. They've, taking a chance on a young up-and-coming coach, not doing some retread. You take Boston out of it, and
Marcus Smart is homegrown.
Marcus Smart is homegrown and has like grown his game, whatever. You take the fact that they're Boston out of it, and it's like the same thing with Milwaukee, right? Like Giannis staying and winning a championship, that's huge. And the Nets failing for the second year in a row.
Drew Holiday just torching the fucking Bulls.
And all I'm saying is not to be a fucking basketball Republican about it, but there is something nice about. You want a little something, a little team, a little feeling like that. Even the Suns, it at least like it's like the old
I hear what you're
guys
saying. When a
and-
team makes too many moves, you almost want to build a wall to prevent them from doing it. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly what I'm saying. Even the Suns, it's like you got the old guy there who's going to come teach the young guys, and
but the rest of it's homegrown.
The rest of it's homegrown.
Bridges, Booker,
and it was, and I kind of felt the same way when the Clippers in the bubble lost to the Nuggets. That was fucking sick because you got these like young upstarts, and because at the time the Clippers were the same guys. Now look, the Clippers have been through some adversity, a lot of injuries, and like I said, they've made a lot of good moves since then. And Ballmer has he's done what you want to know somebody that rich to do, where he's building them a new stadium, he's built them a new fucking
and if Kawhi's healthy, he's top 7 without question.
Sure,
and PG is in there too. I mean, and so the difference between the Clippers and the Nets, though, is also that the Clippers have depth, and next year they're going to be maybe the deepest team in the NBA with a healthy Kawhi and PG. When you look at like bringing in Powell and Covington, and you got a great big in Zubac now, and you've got just so many weapons on that team. Marcus Morris, Luke Kennard, who's a great shooter. A lot of dudes who Batum is very useful still in the NBA.
Absolutely, completely. You
know what I was thinking of?
Third act of his career. What's that?
Because we talk a lot about CJ, like kind of being in the right situation for his type of game now with Herb Jones and Ingram and these kind of longer players, and then for all the years he was with Portland. I was thinking of Dame Lillard back in the day. Do you remember what that starting lineup was? It was Dame. It
was him. It was
Wes Matthews.
Wes Matthews
at the two
before the injury.
Before the injury, who was a killer
unbelievable. And still, by the way, I'm one of the biggest Wes Matthews fans in the world.
I do like him, but I think
before he blows out his knee, though, his athleticism was completely different.
Incredible 3-and-D guy. Who's at the 3? Nick Batum.
That's right.
Then who's at the 4? Aldridge. At the 5, Robin Lopez. So they had this they had this really good defensive team around Lillard, and they never did that again.
That's so interesting. I completely forgot. I remember all those guys separately, but I just didn't watch that much Blazers back then. And you're right.
But that's who you need next to Lillard is Batum and Wes Matthews.
They couldn't. Batum was too good. They couldn't afford him. And then the Hornets overpaid him, and then obviously he became a fucking problem there. Good for him making that money and never even coming close to the Hornets seeing that value.
But now he's underpaid because he's actually very useful for the Clippers, and the Clippers just have depth, man. They're going to be fun next year.
Yeah, and so I guess that's my point where it's like even the Heat that had LeBron in his prime and Dwayne Wade, it's like even though they made it all the way to the finals, they didn't win that first year. The only super team that's ever won in the first year was the Celtics, but that was different. Those are like old guys that were all
But the Heat made it to the finals, and by the way, the Warriors won the first year with Durant.
That doesn't count. That was like fucking, they were already champions.
How about, do you see Chuck calling out?
Oh, there's been a lot of calling out. Go ahead, talk about the Chuck one.
Did you see it?
I saw him, I saw the clip on Instagram, but I didn't catch.
I was watching that live, and I was kind of like, wow, I can't believe he's saying this. But he's basically, and first off, Chuck is like a mobster where he's like, no disrespect, and you're like, all right, what's he gonna say?
But here's the most soul-shattering thing you've ever heard.
Well, he just said that basically KD, like, if you're not driving the bus and I don't want to hear it, it's like and basically calling his Warriors wins kind of bullshit.
Yeah.
Being like, you went to Curry's team. You went to a 73-win team. It's like, we all kind of think this, but like for Chuck to say it, because I think Chuck resents dudes like this, because Chuck is like, dude, I fucking carried
I was the guy
Phoenix.
the whole time. I tried to beat Michael Jordan, and look what it got me. It gets me Shaq's fucking goofy ass constantly bringing up rings.
He did go to the Houston, but it was when
at the end,
Olajuwon was old, Pippen was old.
Yeah.
I think it really bugs him. And of course, Kenny's sitting there like, I won 2 rings as not the guy, but Kenny was a clutch. Kenny was a really good player.
But see, that's the difference, though. Kenny's talent is never in the. Kenny did the best he could and won 2 championships, right? Because he maximized who he was. He was never going to be the leader of a team, right?
I believe he was a 20-point-a-game guy on Sacramento. He came in the league with a lot of hype.
Sure, but clear. I mean, that's. and not to fucking be flippant about it, but it's like scoring is the easiest thing to do if you have a certain skill set and the team is built around you. Kenny's destiny was.
And by the way, I was wrong. It's 17.3 on the Kings, and he averaged 17.7 on the Rockets one year.
No, I'm not. Look, I'm just saying that's like Chuck was competing with. He was the number one guy. He was an MVP, and I get that. I get what he's saying, but I will say it has been. I'm not personally a KD hater, right? I love KD, but he's incredible. This has been a nice 24 hours for the KD haters. I've seen a lot of stuff on Twitter, a lot of, especially the Steph guys. If you're like, I've seen a lot of like, oh, it's not so easy when you're not guarded like this, and they would show screenshots where Steph is triple teamed and Durant is just like holding his arms completely open type of shit. And yeah, obviously, but look, here's the other thing. Let's not get fucking carried away. They don't win those championships without Durant. There's a reason Durant's the Finals MVP.
They don't, but I will say this: they won one without him.
They won one without him, but that Cleveland team they beat the second time after the first year.
You don't think they could have taken one more without KD?
Maybe one more, but I think Cleveland would have won the second. That team was fucking sick. That offense was unbelievable, and you had LeBron. I mean, that means something. You know what I mean? Like. LeBron is better. LeBron by himself is better than at that point was better than I think either KD or Curry alone.
No one's denying KD's talent, but here's another way that KD fucked up. He followed Kyrie. You could have gone anywhere, dude. You followed a dude who like maybe you shouldn't have followed. I know he's great, but like, what would you have done if you were KD? I know what I would have done. The world's most famous arena. The world's most famous arena. Hey, man, say what you want about Julius Randle, but he fucking shows up and plays.
Why did I even ask? That was – you just alley-oop. You just did a T-Mac alley-oop
off the fucking
– to bring up the Knicks. Set yourself up.
Let me tell you something, though, man. I kind of love what Chuck said. It was – whatever. Enough KD talk because we both think he's incredible. We both seen him live many times. I think he's a phenom. I'm just saying you bet on the wrong horse in Kyrie because you could have gone anywhere. And Kyrie is incredible, but man, you really
when he quits on you in a major way.
Yeah,
and he absolutely did that. Yeah,
and I think to bet on just like it's funny we bounce around like it's being a star-driven league, but you need depth. Everyone talks about like well Bird. Had McHale and Parrish. Yeah, he also had Dennis Johnson. He also had fucking Danny Ainge. He also had Bill Walton. Like
and
that team had fucking depth.
And he had a front office that understood how to exploit the things that so many. I mean, this is in an era where the GM is also the owner, and the owner is a guy who owns the biggest carpet store.
That's a job for a reason. Like everyone's like, Magic had Kareem and Worthy. Yeah, okay. He also had Michael Cooper, who was a defensive stopper. You forget that glue guys win championships. Who's the Nets glue guy? I mean, Andre Drummond?
Bruce Brown is fucking good, dude, honestly.
He's very good, but it's not enough.
Yeah, Bruce Brown, I think Claxton are good. I mean, look, to give them a little credit, they're missing Joe Harris the whole year. They're missing Ben Simmons, who hysterically, I mean, it's so funny that he gave them literally nothing.
And they should not have Ben Simmons. They should have James Harden. They don't have him because of one of your stars being difficult.
Right. Anyway, fuck the Nets.
Fuck the Nets. I want to talk about the Pelican Suns because that was an incredible game.
Let's talk about it. I missed it. Unfortunately, it was the wedding, but I
watched it live, and it's tough because I want to see CP3 get his ring, but at the same time, I want to see this go 7.
Shout out to Alvarado.
Grand Theft Alvarado.
New York City's own Alvarado. Yeah, he's from I don't remember where. Yeah,
he is a scrappy little guy. I love him.
He rules.
Herb Jones is a fucking. How did he slip to the second round? Classic.
Yeah, it's so funny. Herb Jones alone is kind of like doing so much to rehabilitate David Griffin's. And you know what? Not just him. The coach. It shows you how important coaching is. I mean, Willie Green is fucking awesome, dude. And
he's a great coach.
And he is he was fucking the Phoenix lead assistant last year. So they took him.
And he also played with your boy AI. He was a fun player.
That's right.
Tough player, Jack guy when he played.
Yeah.
But clearly a great coach, and they're gelling so well without Zion. It seems like they have no reason to keep him. So
really, and what do you think they should do about that, Sam?
Dun 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 dun. That's the Knicks. So I think I love what they're doing, man. And McCollum fits beautifully. It's funny. McCollum is almost what you could tell they kind of wish Devontae Graham would be. Obviously, McCollum's
100%.
better. But that's kind of what they wanted out of Graham, and that's why I think we both didn't get, because we're like, Graham is not McCollum.
No.
McCollum didn't even shoot well yesterday, but he hit a clutch at Valanciunas just fucking torched. And Aiden played well, but Valanciunas really just fucking showed him up.
Yeah. No, I mean,
they play with a lot of pride, and I think a lot of that is like, these are vets. You know, they have a good coach.
Yeah, you see. I mean, Josh Hart, when he got traded, stayed in New Orleans a day and watched the team as a spectator because he loved the vibe so much. And that's a credit
what
to
if they
Jones.
kept Lonzo, too?
Sorry,
I mean,
Green.
like, if they kept Lonzo?
Yeah, which, again, no reason not to. Literally no reason not to. Makes no fucking sense.
He's not playing anyway, but yeah, he should be there. And also, I'll say, you know, the Pelicans are scrappy. They're tough. It's funny. As I'm watching the game, I'm like, you know what's weird? The Suns are the 1 seed, and the Pelicans are the 8 seed. And I know Devin Booker's injured, but the 2 best scorers on the court are Brandon Ingram and CJ McCollum.
Yeah, in terms of creating their own offense, absolutely. Yeah.
I mean, Chris Paul is the best player still, but he laid an egg last night.
Well, dude,
he's 36.
He's fucking old, and they got a little
and he
Dominican
put on a masterpiece in game 3.
going on him, fucking the whole fucking end line to end line. Like, Alvarado picked him up full court.
It's exhausting, and he also, like, you know, campaign played like dog shit. You need Cam Johnson or Mikal Bridges to go off.
The campaign assance is over. You do need, you know what? In Booker's absence, you really do need Johnson to step up, because they're missing that shooting. I mean, he's not going to do the same offense creation that Devin Booker does, but he can still keep a defense honest just by stretching them, and they really do need him to show up. And
that being said, I think Phoenix takes Game 5 in Phoenix. I think home court is big for this one, but Chris Paul is clearly exhausted. He's your best player. He's 36. There's no Devin Booker. DeAndre Ayton has got to give him a little more, even though he played well. He's got to go off. He wants a max deal. Show why you're worth a max deal. I believe he will probably get a max deal because he's a valuable two-way big, but they just didn't get enough, and the Pelicans are fucking confident, dude.
They are, and I will say, now look, this is what happens in the playoffs all the time, right? Like, we get caught up in the game-to-game, like the game-to-game momentum. I mean, remember last year, I was ready to fucking jump off a bridge in the Brooklyn Milwaukee series before the injuries. You know what I mean?
Oh, you almost jumped off again this year when Chris Middleton went down.
No, I'm fine. I just checked to see if I had the hammer to crack if needed.
Sure,
the ghillie suit
sorry,
underneath, not the
yeah.
gimp suit. That's when he's done a good job. We reward him with the gimp suit. we reward Mike. Anyway, whatever. And look, I could still see, okay, because everyone's sucking the Warriors off, right? Everyone is throating the Warriors. And by the way, shouts out to the Nuggets getting one. A testament to Jokic to get that, even though the play they ran was a lob for Andrew Wiggins in fucking crunch time.
It's funny. There were people tweeting like, yeah, he's an MVP. Then how come you have to sub him out for defense? I don't know. Maybe because the Warriors are playing fucking 4 guards, you idiot.
Yeah.
Like, Shaq's a great defender. You sub him out for that play too.
Yeah.
This is a modern NBA small ball thing. People are so fucking dumb. Look at Jokic's stat line. Look at his game-winning pass.
He's leading. He's got the most points in the postseason.
But it's turned into some sort of like
Draymond Green.
But it's turned into, I know, and Draymond is an annoying defender.
He's
like
one of the best defenders. We talked about it. Maybe the best defender of his generation.
Jokic, but the problem is there are now Jokic and Embiid haters, which is funny because I think everyone loved them both for a while. But now that it's kind of
back. It always.
I know, but now that they're battling for supremacy for bigs,
right?
Least,
right. You have the competing camps.
You can't like Hemingway and Fitzgerald. You have to like one. It's that shit.
Right.
I mean, it's like, clearly Giannis is a big too, but he's not like them. It's a different type of big.
He's just in his own. He's in his own lane for sure.
But
No, and so what I was saying is like, and look, I was just kind of giving the Nuggets are gonna fucking lose that series, obviously, but it's good. It's like it's a good character thing that they get one, especially after they didn't get game 2 where Jokic went off, or was that game 3? I don't remember. Anyway, The point
They're
is good for
without
them.
their second and third best player. I mean, if they had a fully healthy roster and they're playing the Warriors without Clay and Draymond, the Nuggets win.
Right. So my point though is, at this moment in time, the Suns are knotted up with the fucking 8 seed, and the Warriors look like fucking world beaters. But also, I could absolutely see in the next round something happening where it's like, you get the Warriors facing although I guess that's not true. They're probably going to glide because whoever they play next is just a young team that doesn't know what the fuck they're doing.
They're playing either Memphis or Minnesota.
But my point is, I could see the Suns bouncing back. Remember, when the Celtics won the championship,
if
the
they
Hawks took them to 7. Do you remember that? It was one of those where we're like, wow, maybe the Celtics aren't as good as we think. If they get out of this series and Devin Booker is healthy, we're not talking about any of this stuff, I don't think. Even though it's very annoying for them, because I think whoever comes out of the 2-7 is going to be a better playoff. It's going to be an easier playoff matchup than
Dude, we just talked
Dallas.
about the Pelicans where I said the 2 best scorers on the floor play for the Pelicans. Devin Booker's the best scorer on either team.
Right, for sure. Absolutely. I don't think that's controversial at all.
No, it's not. It wasn't meant to be. That's why I didn't do a classic Sam. This might piss off the listeners.
But my point is, sorry, I was just going to say that, like, we get swept up in this. I could see the Suns absolutely bouncing back. Hopefully, if Booker's fine, they're fine. But at the same time, I also could see it. Booker doesn't come back. CP3 is tired. It takes everything out of them to beat these fucking Pelicans. And then what if Luka is healthy, even though he didn't look good in his return? And I actually kind of thought maybe they should have just stuck with whatever they had.
They have a lot of energy, though. That team plays with a lot of energy. And yeah, I think the Suns take the series if that's the matchup. And then I also think, who do you have? I don't know, the Grizz or the T-Wolves. It's a fun series. End of the day, I probably think the Grizz eke it out, but I think it might go 7. I think it might go 7.
Yeah, I
and
agree.
I hope it does, because it's got the makings of a classic.
So fun. It's
so
fun.
If for some reason the T-Wolves make it through, I could see Draymond just throwing Towns way the fuck off.
If the T-Wolves make it through, then God is really just trying to fucking hand the Warriors another fucking championship. Because then it's like, although I'm also the other thing, it's like, on one level, it's like the Warriors are getting their confidence. They're feeling like they're gelling, which is bad.
Clay went off. They lost, but Clay was fucking shooting it.
You don't want that team. You don't want that team gelling and feeling confident. But at the same time, maybe if they cakewalk and then then the Suns finally put it together and they have Booker, maybe those Suns can smack them. I just think everyone is sucking the Warriors off, and I wouldn't get too excited after the Nuggets. That's it. I'm just trying to throw a little cold water. I'm also trying to hold on, because right now,
I don't think the Nuggets are impressive. I think Jokic is great, but they're without 2 of their 3 best players. I don't know what anyone expected.
Yeah, I agree.
I think them not getting swept is an achievement.
I think the Golden State suck-off party is a little too vociferous right now. Yeah. And I will say, the Celtics party, I wish I could poo-poo how much they're getting sucked off, but they look good. There's a velvet rope. Casey Affleck's waving people in. Matt Damon's throwing high fives. But here's the other thing that I'll say about why we shouldn't be sucking them off so hard. I said it before the playoffs. I didn't want the Bucks to duck the Nets because I thought the Nets were bad. That's the one thing here where it's like, I think we're overrating the Celtics.
I'm shocked. I'm in shock by this.
And what I'm saying is, everyone is sucking the Celtics off. What if it turns out this wasn't that hard a thing to do? I know they're 2 of the greatest of their generation scorers.
That's why you have to say it's still hard, because they are 2 of the greatest. Chuck once said a great player should never get swept. Even if you only have one great player. That Jokic is proof of that. A great player should never get swept. They have 2 guys at that level.
He says that, though, is because it's to fuck with Shaq. Because Shaq got swept constantly.
But I think it's true.
Yeah.
Also, Shaq got swept in the finals, at least.
Shaq got swept a lot early on, though. He got swept. Yeah. I think, who the fuck else swept the Magic even before the finals? Anyway, he also
doesn't matter.
Whatever.
There's truth to it.
The Lakers got swept a lot, even when he got there.
If you're that great a player, I think you could sometimes take a game, and I think it's true. And when you have 2 guys at that level, they should be able to take at least one or two.
Yeah. Well, but I just
the
think
fact that this might not go 6 is fucking crazy.
It might not go 5. What are you talking about?
No, but my point is like before this, I did not.
Right. You couldn't fathom. Yeah. Not going 6. I get that.
And that's only because of KD and Kyrie's greatness.
So I will say what I'm holding on to.
They almost took game 1. It was fucking by this much.
That's true. And how different is the whole series? And how different is the whole vibe if they take game 1? That's a great point. And that's what's great about the playoffs. One fucking layup changes everything.
One layup, brother.
Let me get now. Okay, so everyone's sucking off the Celtics. Everyone's fucking sucking off the Warriors. I'm saying let's. I'm not saying we don't need to suck. I'm just saying you don't need to fucking hit the back of your throat yet. Okay, put the tip in your mouth and jack it a little. That's it. Don't put your hands behind your back and go blah 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 blah. Okay, just give them a little run of the mill suck. We don't have to fucking fully throat them. You don't have to fucking gag yet. That's all I'm saying. Everyone's gagging, and I will say
that was beautiful. Thank you.
I will say, yeah, of course. And the thing, okay, and now I got to turn to the Bucks, of course, because they dropped that game, and you know. Middleton's gone. They dropped that game. But since then, my boys have laid the fucking smackdown. Not only in Milwaukee, but also in Chicago. They've done what you want them to do. And you said it. Drew showed up. And if that's a huge sign, because if they are going to fill the hole with Middleton, it's got to be Drew, right?
Drew hit almost a logo shot at the end of that game. I mean, he was torching
And his
Chicago.
defense is as important as anything coming up with the Celtics, right? So –
I mean, Drew and Marcus Smart are two of the peskiest in the game. They're two as good as it gets.
Absolutely.
It'll be a showdown.
So
I just play Electric Light Orchestra showdown. It's gonna be a showdown. Bill Murray's hair in Kingpin.
Dude, the best. One of the best comedy movies ever made. Anyway, I just want to suck the Bucks off, and I want to say they took care of business. And let's not forget the game they lost. Giannis was a little off on defense, and DeRozan was hitting everything. And that's just if those two things happen, you're gonna lose a game like that. And if they end up with a gentleman's sweep, it's not that's par for the course.
And let us also not forget that if the Knicks signed DeRozan instead of Evan Fournier, maybe the Knicks are the ones getting their asses clapped by the Bucks right now. And it would have been an honor and a privilege.
Absolutely, that would have been great. And you know what I'm pissed off about? I really wanted the Nets to make it to the next round, or at least make it a long series, because I've been away this whole time. I was going to go watch one of those games. Even though I don't like either of those teams, you still want to be in the room for playoff basketball with greats. You know what I mean? So fuck the Nets. Fuck their owner, Joe Tsai. Fuck Alibaba.net, which is how he made all his money. And fuck who else? I don't know, Ben Simmons. No, I like him. Whatever. The point is,
do you like him?
I think it's funny. I think he's funny and it's interesting. He's just a weird guy, and the way he's behaved is wrong and off. And I'm just curious to see how this goes.
I am how much 2 of their 3 stars have lost financially this year. Like, you think about like money that most people will never come close to seeing in their life. It's 1 year of their life, and they're like, yeah, whatever.
Yeah, whatever. I'll make it up next year. I am very curious to see. And okay, everything I said about the Nets and it being cool to see this like almost like kind of cynical, who cares? We'll just show up and we'll be champions thing not work. At the same time, it's been 3 years now? They've had, the first year they were both those guys were hurt. The second year they had Harden, and then this year another fucking blow up. If they re-sign Kyrie and he stays, they kind of do have they have been through some stuff. There is some history there, and it's been longer, and maybe they can fucking look.
Staying healthy, though, is really what it comes down to, and KD is getting to an age where it's going to get harder and harder. Kyrie has got a lot of health issues.
Well, listen, if Joe Harris comes back, Ben Simmons theoretically could be this is a fucking
could be their Draymond.
This is a guy, all-star, and at such a young age, first team defense, like.
And this time he's got no pressure to score.
None to score. So I just think this makes them more interesting next year. And looking forward to next year.
And there's a lot of good stories next year. I do want to see the Suns get through the Pelicans, even though there's been a fun as hell series. I also think, I don't know if you caught the end of that Mavs-Utah game. I think you were probably at the wedding. Great
I
ending.
saw the clips. Yeah.
I mean, the alley from Mitchell to Rudy Gobert was a beautiful pass, nice dunk. Fun to see two guys who clearly hate each other have to work together to win it. It's like the end of a buddy cop movie where they're like, fuck you, dude. They put their arm, It's like after the shootout,
Yeah, you're not
they're
so
like,
bad
all right,
after
you're
all.
all right. It was pretty damn fun, I have to admit. And look, I got to admit too, I do like watching Donovan Mitchell. I think he's such a talented player. And to make that game-winning pass, as much as we shit on Gobert, dude, when he gets up to throw down those dunks, it like reminds me of Tyson Chandler back in the day.
But also I agree. But it's like Dallas is such a weird. I mean, he should be going off. It's like who's supposed to guard him? Maxi Kleber? Like who the fuck?
Well,
is
I have no faith in Utah. I think this could go 7. It would be hilarious.
I think from the little, because I didn't see the whole game, right? I saw some clips. I saw some whatever. I just think, and Luka looked fine, but he did not look 100%.
Hit a clutch 3 to almost ice it, though. I mean,
he did, but I just think like if he wasn't 100% and he didn't look 100% to me, now I know he's a competitor, whatever. I just think like they kind of had good momentum. They kind of had the underdog thing going, and I think like in a weird way, seeing Luka kind of almost energized the Jazz with their like, oh, now they're playing with their real squad, like no more fucking scrubs. We're going to show this motherfucker type of shit. Whereas, like, I don't know. There's like a.
If it's safe to play Luka, you play Luka.
But was it fully safe? I don't know. I guess they wouldn't have if they did. But
I can't imagine they'd let him go out there if it was.
I just think you kind of have a weird. I just think you have a weird advantage as the underdog, especially with a team as mentally fragile as Utah, where it's like
fragile.
It's like you're telling me. Fucking Jalen Brunson's beating us, like for them, that's got to feel really bad.
Torturing them.
Whereas like Luka beating you is like whatever. Anyway, that's a weird point to make. I get that, but I just think like it could have fucked with them a little more. Imagine they go 3-1 to the scrubs. They're gonna fucking kill themselves on that plane ride home. But now they have like this big, we beat them with Luka, we can do it, fuck them attitude. Anyway, you're right. Ultimately, if Luka is safe to go, I'm just saying if there was even a 5% chance, hold him out until you really have to play him. And because you want him well rested for next series because, dude, Phoenix pushed to the brink by the Pelicans and Devin Booker is missing.
They've never gotten out of the first round with Luka. They want to get out of that first round. I guess you're right.
I guess Luka really wants to play too. That's true. This must be so frustrating for Luka because I think a fully healthy Luka, they're fucking maybe it's in 5 games. This fucking thing is over. And he probably wants to pad his playoff stats against this horrific,
I think 6.
This horrific Utah Jazz defense. But anyway, so Phoenix New Orleans is really surprising. Listen, I thought Memphis was going to win that one. Salute to Minnesota for fighting and salute to Karl Anthony Towns for actually shooting the fucking ball. I will say this as a fan of his game. I'd almost rather see him shoot 5 for 22 than 3 for 4 because at least it means he's being aggressive. 100%.
You were the best player on your team. Edwards is great. Right now, you're the best player on the team.
And I caught the beginning of that game.
You got to shoot the fucking rock, dude.
I caught the beginning of that game, and I will say he was, at least in the beginning, he came out. You could see he was like almost overdoing his aggression because he was like, I'm not going to let it happen again. And you know what? That's learning, though, right? I mean, this is his first prolonged stint in the playoffs. He's clearly a guy that has these issues. In the grand scheme of things, he is a relatively young guy, like life-wise. So it's like, I believe that he could figure this out, right? Like I do believe that.
I think he's incredibly talented.
You want to watch him do it right now, and I think Memphis, in a weird way, is really good for him because they are very talented, but they don't know how to win. If they were facing your typical 2 seed, if they were facing someone like Phoenix or Golden State, if they had been the 2 seed.
I don't know, dude. Phoenix right now is floundering a little bit.
No. Phoenix would be able to beat these guys because they just don't know how to win. Neither of these teams know how to shut the other team down. I think this team is pretty
similar to the Pelicans, honestly.
No.
In that they have 2 kind of gut punch scorers. Look, McCollum.
They don't have the defense.
Experience.
They don't have the Pelicans are a much tougher defensive team.
T-Wolves have a couple guys. They have Vanderbilt is a very tough guy.
Vanderbilt's okay, but it's like
Pat Bev.
Fuck Pat, dude. He's over fucking rated. Fuck Pat Bev. Fuck guard defense in general. Don't make us have this fucking talk again.
Oh, we'll keep circling the drain, my friend.
Fuck you. Fuck Pat Bev. The Pelicans have fucking they have fucking Herb. They got fucking Brandon Ingram's got the long arms and shit. You know what I mean?
Whatever. Whatever.
Fuck you. The
Your shitty ass points.
You know what? You can suck my. How about this? Suck my fucking dick. You and the Timberwolves can suck my. I'll write a target on my dick and balls, and you can suck it at the target.
The Pelicans are a tough 8 seed. They are really a tough 8 seed.
Yeah, and I think it has a lot to do with. And you know what? As good as
who's a better team, the Atlanta Hawks or the New Orleans Pelicans?
Without Zion or with Zion?
Without Zion, because that's what they are right now. With Zion, I don't think it's a question.
That's a great question. I don't want to. You know what? Fuck it. It's the Pelicans, especially because you have to look at the Pelicans from the second half on, right? Kind of like you do the Celtics, where it's like, unfortunately, they figured something out. And the Hawks, on the other hand, have been kind of they've come on a little bit in the second half, but not the way you expected them to. Right? We were talking about this team. My dumbass got duped by the baby nutted villain. We were talking about this team as a potential 3 seed in the East, right? 2 seed. I mean, that didn't fucking happen, obviously. And that's a big issue. Now, look, they've had some injuries, obviously. But more than anything, I just don't think they're that good.
Yeah.
And the Pelicans have just a more interesting team that kind of fits together. And we'll see, man. I mean, one of the biggest turnarounds of all time in this year. I mean, the Pelicans, it was like they're headed for the fucking lottery. And then they're just like, I mean, winning that play-in game to then put them in the playoffs, to then take, even if they just get these 2 games, if the Suns win the next 2, this will be a huge win for the Pelicans. Obviously, they've huge. A lot of credit has to go to their coach. A lot of credit has to go to those guys for playing so fucking hard, and even to that bald goatee having piece of shit David Griffin for kind of filling out this roster in interesting ways and taking a chance on the CJ McCollum.
When you land on a second round pick, it makes you look very good.
When you got a guy that people were trying to make a case for in his rookie year being on second team all defense, not rookie, second team all defense overall. I don't know if he'll totally make it, but he might. He's that good. And even Alvarado, who was one of those guys that you sign off, they were, when it was that era where like fucking Joe Johnson was playing and fucking Lance Stevenson, all these guys, they found Alvarado and he did the best of his like little COVID 10-day contract, and he got himself a real contract. So, and
he's got the best nickname in sports.
Yeah, he rules. And he's
Grand Theft Alvarado.
Grand Theft Alvarado. Anyway, shouts out to them. And look, I'll say this second round is shaping up very, very delicious. Because Miami, Philly is going to be fucking awesome. Milwaukee, Boston is going to be fucking awesome. Warriors, whoever they play, is going to be bullshit, honestly. It'll be entertaining. It'll be like high scoring, but I think the Golden State suck-off will continue in a way that's undeserved. They've gotten very lucky with the way the bracket broke. Phoenix, I think it's going to be Phoenix, Dallas. If it's Phoenix,
we don't know, dude. Could be the Pelicans. It's just I don't think they'll win.
Ultimately, I don't think it's going to be the Pelicans.
I don't either, but yeah, we'll see. I think, yeah. Phoenix, Dallas is a good series. Phoenix, Utah.
Phoenix, Dallas. Listen, Phoenix, Dallas, if Luka's 100% and Booker's not there, now we're getting spicy. Now old-ass CP3 is going to really have to fucking earn this one. But
we'll see. Yeah, I can't imagine Booker sits out if he sees him losing, but we'll see. This must be terrible for him. So.
Oh, my God. It's got to feel fucking terrible. You can come through, dude. It doesn't fucking matter.
Lot to look forward to.
My boy Pete's coming in. He slept in our guest room here after the wedding. Come on through, buddy. We're wrapping up. Don't worry.
Lots to look forward to coming up. We'll be back later in the week, but a lot of games I can't wait to watch.
Can't wait, folks. I have to go pack my bags. Have to get in the car and get back to New York City after a fucking awesome wedding weekend. But we'll be back. I'll have watched more games the next time you hear us.
Probably Friday, honestly, but we'll see. We'll see.
Yeah, we got to see how it breaks, how it what's happened. It depends. If these series are decided, then maybe we'll do it. If the series are decided earlier, maybe we do it earlier. Whatever, we'll figure it out. You'll get a fucking Patreon. Go to patreon.com/poddon'tlie, and we'll be back. The playoffs really are the fucking best time of the year, man.
It's the
best. And we've had a great round one.
By the way, I'm in Brea, California this weekend. Insanely big room. So if you want to come see me and you live near Brea,
go to Brea.
Brea Improv, folks.
Where is it? Have I done that one? No, I think I did the Irvine Improv.
Yeah.
That one was pretty good. Where am I this weekend? I'm in Rhode Island. I'm at the Comedy Connection in Providence. And then I'm in the DC Improv after that, and then San Diego American Comedy Company, and finally Philly Helium. That will end my year-long tour. I'm taking fucking 3 months off. Yeah.
Damn, I'm not stopping. I'm out every week still.
Yeah.
Nashville, Albany, Toronto.
I'm trying not to die.
Chicago.
Sam doesn't really care that much.
Tampa, Cleveland, suck my dick. I'll be everywhere.
The road really affects me very drastically. I mean, you figured it. You figured out a little better than me. I still go to a little too buck wild, but I'm gonna be detoxing for a couple of months.
Oh, I'm way healthier on the road than I am in New York.
That's crazy. That's crazy to me. But anyway, folks, we love you. The playoffs rock, and we will talk to you soon. Bye bye.
They talk about